Hey everyone! So this book just got a TV series and it was finally released in the US just a week ago, I think. And I binge watched the whole entire series just so I could tell y'all what I thought. So I am going to do a little review of the book so you can know what I thought about the book. You're going to get my TV series review, and then we're going to do a book versus TV series so I can tell you what the differences were if you read the book and if you want to watch the TV series. So let's go ahead and get started. The story itself, you're basically following Pip as she's doing her EPQ project on the murder of Andie Bell. Andie Bell was a senior in high school when she was allegedly murdered by her boyfriend, Sal Singh. And Sal then committed suicide and said, "I'm sorry for what I did." So Pip is just basically following this murder and trying to discover who did it because she does not think Sal is the murderer. And so she teams up with Sal's little brother, Ravi, and they basically solve the case together. So that's a quick description and doesn't do it justice at all, but it was great. So I've actually made a few videos featuring this book and a few posts featuring this book because I adored it. It is one of my absolute favorite books. I thought it was amazing. The mystery was so fun. The whole story was just great in itself. Pip as a character is quirky and funny and kind, and you just love her automatically. And Ravi and Pip together, wow. Fireworks, it was amazing. They are just the funnest duo. The mystery itself, you have a lot of strings that you follow, kind of like the cover, but you end up with this nuanced and very layered explanation as to Andie's murder. And I thought that it worked really well because you have so many different things going on in this book and so many different threads to follow, and you're just kind of going along with Pip on the ride, and it's so much fun. This was 5 out of 5 stars easily and one of the best books that I've read in YA. Alright, on to my TV series review. So, it obviously can't be as amazing as the book. It can't. But I found the series as a whole really not that bad. I know a lot of people who are really obsessed with the book were a little upset about it, but I thought it was good. It wasn't bad, it wasn't great, but it was good. And so one of the first things that I want to mention that really threw me off about this series was the pacing. The first 3 episodes, I was bored out of my mind. I was like, where is this going? This is kind of boring. This doesn't feel like the book. You have episode 1, 2, and 3, and I think by midway through episode 3, I was starting to get into it. And then after that, once you get to episode 4, 5, 6, you're really, really, really getting into it. And you're like, okay, here it is. So that was my main problem with this series, is that it felt lackluster in the first 3 episodes, which is half the season. So when you take that into consideration, that's a long time to really not get going in a series, that you're gonna lose a ton of your audience by doing that. And I know it's hard to build up on the characters and the drama, especially if you don't know them, especially if you haven't read the book, but I felt like it was just too slow. This is one thing that I really did like. This is just a kind of tidbit, and it's a minor spoiler, but not really, for the 3rd book in the series, is that in I think the first or second episode, they mention the duct tape killer, and he actually comes into play in the 3rd book of the series. So I really like that they mentioned him ahead of time to actually pull into the 3rd book, because you didn't really get a lot of tie-in with that. I thought that was really cool. The charisma of some of these characters was off the charts. So Ravi, played by Zayn Iqbal, he was really cute, and he was awkward in all of the nerdy, amazing Ravi ways. So I really liked his actor and the way that the actor played this character. But Pip, who was played by Emma Myers, it definitely felt like Pip's character, but it wasn't all that I wanted her to be. I don't know if that even makes sense, but that's how I feel about it. And Emma Myers did an amazing job. She was great. She's an amazing actress, but it didn't feel all the way like Pip, just to me. But okay, and this one like really throws me off. So Max Hastings, he's played by Henry Ashton. He had so much freaking charisma. I was sitting there and I was watching and I'm like, wow, I should hate him, but I really don't. I loved watching him on screen. He was amazing. He really captured the screen when he was on it. And I was like, wow, maybe this is like the perfect portrayal of Max Hastings, because he's this rich young guy and he's good looking and he just like sweeps everybody away, but he's a really bad dude. So I love that. I thought he was really cool. And then somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but Dan DaSilva, I remembered him being completely and honestly like miserable. He was rude, he was mean, he was all of these things, and he was just like, I don't know, he was like a deadbeat. But in the TV series, he's played by Jackson Buse, I think is how you say it. But he was oddly not hateable. Like, I didn't hate him like I felt like I should. But I thought in the book that I hated him so much. But I did read it a long time ago, so I could be remembering incorrectly. So somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I didn't hate him. I was kind of just like, look, he's trying to protect his people. But okay, and then I loved Kara. I thought Kara was so sweet and she was adorable. And she's played by Asha Banks. I thought she was amazing. One thing that did bother me was I felt like the whole entire series I was trying to make myself feel chemistry between Ravi and Pip, but it didn't actually feel like it was there. I'm sitting here and I'm watching this TV series. I'm like, okay, yeah, you know, they're building up for the romance, but it never felt romantic. I don't know how any of you guys feel about that, but that's how I felt. And that in itself was pretty disappointing because Pip and Ravi are obviously the show stealers in the book. And with the plot, the series largely follows the book's threads. Like you're mainly following what the book gives you, but there are a couple of things that change, and I'll get into that in the TV series versus the book. All in all, I think it was bad plotting, because if they would have set it up a little better, I wouldn't have been bored until the 3rd episode. So yeah, but the ending, the last 2 episodes they were phenomenal. I thought you followed all the twists and turns, you get all of these things and you're going, wow, 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 wow. And the last 2 episodes did a really, really good job of capturing that urgency that the book had for the mystery, and I really love that. However, some things were a little too convenient and they left a few things unsaid in the series, and I was like, why didn't they mention this? Because this kind of needs to be tied up. But overall, I'd give the whole series a 3.5 out of 5. Like I said, it was good. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. And I still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed binging it. But I do enjoy sitting and watching a TV series all the way through and not having to think about anything else. So yeah, you get more mystery than you get romance. But on to the differences. Alright, I know I've missed some here, and I know I'm not going to have every single difference that the TV series has versus the book, but here are some of the things that I spotted, and I immediately was like, whoa, that wasn't in the book. Now, obviously, spoilers. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. Do not move forward if you haven't read the book or watched the TV series. If you don't want to read the book, but you watch the TV series, sure, go ahead. If you don't want to watch the TV series, but you read the book, sure, go ahead. But you will have the story spoiled. So keep that in mind. So the main thing that you see in the first episode is Pip felt guilty because she told Sal where Andy was. That was the main thing that was driving her EPQ, and I didn't like that because that didn't feel like Pip. Pip was doing it because she believed in her heart of hearts that Sal was innocent. She didn't do it because she felt guilty that she may have killed Andy inadvertently. No. She did it because she believed that Sal was good. I don't like that change. I personally don't like that change. I guess they needed her to have a little more driving force behind her doing her EPQ for that, but that wasn't Pip. It didn't feel like Pip. So that's one big change for me. Tiny change. Barney was a golden retriever, not a sheepdog, but it's okay. Not a big thing. Still cute. But Barney, from what I remember, died by falling into a river, not by getting hit by a car. And it was never mentioned ever that it was Becca's fault that Barney died. It was kind of like insinuated, but it was never mentioned. And I really think that they should have mentioned it, because you get this nagging feeling like, hey, we missed something. And it's Barney. You forgot about freaking Barney. Like, come on. He died. He was murdered. It was accidental. In the book, it was accidental. It never said whether or not it was not accidental in the TV series, but like, come on, give him some justice, man. And then the cave parties for the Calamities, that was pretty cool. I thought that was a really cool addition, as in to have like the Calamities as the cave parties. But Pip does not meet Howie at a Calamity. She meets Howie at his house, where he deals drugs. So I guess they did that to kind of make it more cohesive. But yeah, I didn't like that too much, that she met Howie there. It was kind of like, ooh, icky. Especially with the dude who was just trying to get with her. But yeah, now Big one here. Nat Da Silva was definitely not Andy's friend in the book. Nat was Andy's enemy, if I could say anything, because Pip actually had her as a suspect because Andy basically bullied Nat and released nudes of Nat to the school. That's how Nat's nudes get released. And they didn't mention, I don't think they mentioned that in the TV series, but I could be wrong. Nat was also a victim of Andy's Rohypnol dealings, and they didn't mention that in the series as far as I remember. So yeah, Nat was not her friend. Okay, next thing. The girl who was kidnapped by Elliot Ward actually thought she was Andie Bell. She had some mental issues from what I remember in the book, and she didn't really know where she was. She was kind of like not all there, and she thought she was Andie. She legitimately thought she was Andie, so that's a big difference. I don't know why they had to change that, but yeah, that's what happened. Ravi, from what I remember, wasn't ditching Pip, wasn't leaving town at the end of the book. I don't remember that at all. I did read it a long time ago, so somebody tell me if that was in the book, but I don't remember him leaving town and just turning around and coming to save Pip. I do remember Pip getting saved because she was drugged with the Rohypnol, but I don't remember it being because Ravi left and then being like, oh, I actually need to be with Pip. And another thing, this was kind of, I don't know, this threw me off because I don't remember Andy being as in love with Sal as they portray in the show. I remember Andy kind of semi-loving Sal, but more using him. And she was just like, I don't know, she was lonely and she was mean. She was not the sweet, innocent girl that they portrayed in the TV show. Not that she was sweet and innocent, but I feel like they really didn't get her backbone. She was kind of evil, and they didn't really show that. They showed her being sorry about the Rohypnol in the TV series, but from what I remember, the whole reason Becca pushed her was because she was just nonchalant about it. Like, oh, my bad. Sorry you got drugged and raped. She was evil. She was evil. That's what I remember. And I just remember Sal getting caught up in her web. Like, my favorite quote from the book, it says, it was Pip talking about her at the end when they have the press conference about her solving the murder. And she said, you have cast her as your beautiful victim and willfully overlook the other layers of her character because they don't comfortably fit your narrative. Because everyone was casting her as this innocent girl who was a victim. But really, she victimized a ton of people. And I don't really feel like you get that vibe from the TV show besides the Rohypnol. But the main thing was she was selling Rohypnol to escape her dad. And yes, that was a thing in the book, but I don't know. I didn't feel like they caught that vibe really well. And that's just me. I think that's more opinionated than a major difference, but that's me. Overall, separate from the book, there really weren't that many changes, and it wasn't a bad series. But the book is obviously better, and the book is one of my top favorite reads of all time. So if you're going to get into this series, read the book first. Definitely read the book first. Get it. You will love it. You will never want to put it down, I promise. So yeah, those are my thoughts. All right, so that is my short, very brief, because I've made videos of this before, book review of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. You have my TV series review of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder on Netflix and only on Netflix. And then you have the TV series versus the book differences. Tell me what you thought about this TV series down in the comments below. Also, subscribe if you like this video because I post videos like this all the time. I love talking about books. I love reviewing books. So yeah, give me all your recommendations down below. And until then, I will see you guys later.